If you were around in the early 2000s, there's a high chance you've played at least one Tony Hawk game before. But if you played the series as much as me, there's an even higher chance that your music taste has been influenced by the game's soundtrack, like me. The Pro Skater series and its edgy skater punk influence is naturally gonna have some edgy, explicit music to accompany the games. Like any other T-rated game, the soundtrack is censored to maintain its T rating to appeal to a larger audience. I'm pretty sure that most of the fans of the game know how censored the Nintendo 64 versions of the games are, but have you ever sat down and paid attention to how the music is censored in all the other versions? Naturally, the explicit words that you can't hear on the TV or the radio are censored. You got your F-bombs, S-bombs, slurs, and all those other bad words that demonetize your YouTube channel. You've also got references to sex, drugs, violence, and alcohol that are censored. First Pro Skater game had some pretty normal censorship. If you don't already know, the Nintendo 64 version has more censorship in both the songs and the game as a total. Stuff like no blood when you fall, a few words changed, then the whole soundtrack remixed to clean looping versions. Although it was done more because of the limited cartridge size. However, some are done on purpose to keep the E rating, like in Pro Skater 2. They changed the song Guerrilla Radio by Rage Against the Machine by censoring the word hell. But when you get to Pro Skater 3, you finally get the same amount of edge uncensored on the Nintendo version. Unless you still own a Nintendo 64. The song If You Must by Adele the Funky Homo Sapien has any lines related to ass and the word turd censored. Why they did this makes no sense because the GameCube version has the T rating. I guess they thought the Nintendo 64 was for little kids or something. You might notice though on the normal versions of the game you'll hear a song that doesn't really need censorship. Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones has the words shoot 'em removed from the line shoot 'em in the back now. Having this song censored is pretty wild, knowing that this is definitely one of the more tamer Ramones songs. In Pro Skater 4, the song Beach Blanket Bong Out is present in the game's soundtrack. For some reason, they can write the name, but they can't say it. Not only that, but the name isn't even spelled correctly. They wrote Bong Loud instead of Bong Out, which is kind of funny because right underneath it in the playlist, they wrote the name of the song All of My Best Friends Are Metalheads incorrectly by leaving out best from the title. I even tried looking in the credits to see if they had the same mistakes, but when you get to the song in the credits, it just tells you to refer to the manual. Can you imagine being one of the artists from the game's soundtrack, deciding to see your name in the credits just to see a message that basically says, I'm not writing all of that. Also, you ever realize how creepy and out of place the credits are in Pro Skater 4? You usually get videos of the developers or skate clips with some good music to go along, but in this one you just get weird inconsistent looping beats that get randomly played with randomly picked skaters doing random tricks. It feels so lifeless and uncanny, it's like an AI made it. The fact that it's so different and unusual from the other game's credits, it just gives off an unsettling vibe. You can tell the devs felt the same way because they went back to the Pro Skater 3 style credits in Underground. Anyways, I'm getting off topic, let me talk about the next game. You get to Underground and that's just a whole bunch of confusing and inconsistent. Let's start with the song California Babylon by the Transplants. References to slanging and smoking dope, drinking whiskey, and the kind of coke that doesn't come in a can are censored in the song.
She does some more coke. She does some more coke. She drinks some whiskey and she smokes some dope.
Alright, so from this we can conclude that you can't talk about drugs and alcohol. Makes sense. Now take a look at the song Low Class Conspiracy by Quasimodo present in the same game. In this song you're able to hear Madlib's alter ego talk about sparking the law, which is an obvious slang for weed, followed up by finishing a blunt. Okay, now look at the song Iron Galaxy by Cannibal Ox.
crack in a basement.
So, talking about crack and crackheads are okay, apparently. What? So I guess you can talk about drugs as long as you specify it's not coke. Maybe it's different because they're hip-hop songs, I don't know. Okay, now let's look at the song Seed by Sublime. If you listen closely, you'll find that the word bitch is absent from the song. Okay, so I guess they don't want the kids to hear excessive swearing. Or they're just hypocrites. Same goes for the S-bomb.
That run was bullshit. No, in a good way though.
Cutscene is okay, but song isn't? Well, I mean, I guess you'd be hearing that word a lot more in the soundtrack compared to one cutscene, so I mean, I guess. There's not really that much to talk about in Underground 2. The only thing worth mentioning is that this song by Das Oath has the song title censored. Go ahead and take a guess on what this 4-letter word that starts with R is. This is basically the opposite of the beach blanket bongload incident from Pro Skater 4. Oh look, now we're at the one with the Green Day in it. Hey look, they have Holiday. Hey, this is the one that has that one word in it, you know which one. I mean, after everything that they've censored, I know that it's definitely... So you can't mention certain drugs. You can't talk about overly intimate things. You can't talk about violence. But you can say the other F word? Okay, maybe there's an explanation to this. Okay, so without a doubt, this word is very controversial and not very nice to say the least. But I don't know, I think at the time you were able to say it, on TV at least, if the character saying it was gay. I think I heard that from South Park, don't quote me on that.
Well, they can't use because you can't say unless you're a homosexual.
I tried to do some research on what you can and can't say on TV, but the only thing I found was more proof of the empty internet theory instead. So here's my theory. American Wasteland is a very obviously rushed game. Half of the time the text boxes don't even match the dialogue. The classic mode is like half the size of the one from the previous game. And there's a lot of stuff that was clearly meant to be scrapped that the devs didn't have enough time to take out. Like the mission with the quote-unquote naked lady statue. They put so much emphasis on it in the mission, but when you actually see her in the mission, she's very clearly clothed.
Naked ladies are nice.
Stuff like this indicates to me that there's a lot of stuff that was meant to be changed but ended up staying because Neversoft just didn't have enough time. And Holiday being left uncensored kinda seems like one of those things that wasn't meant to happen because of time restraints. I mean, do you really think that Neversoft would want the kids hearing that? Also, the Teenagers from Mars cover by The Network is able to say, well, this uncensored. They weren't even allowed to say blowjobs in Underground. Well, to be fair, there aren't that many tame Misfits songs to pick from. Even in the MCR cover of Astro Zombies, they had to censor the song. While we're on the topic, how did they get 2 Misfits songs and both of them are covers? The other one wasn't even from the cover album. Oh well, at least we got Doom and Quasimodo and Thug and the Doom feature in this one. And both games spelled his name incorrectly, forgetting to put it in all caps. Underground even abbreviated the MF in his name. Come on, he came out with a whole song about this like a year before Wasteland came out. They also got Peace Frog in this one, which is kinda weird because that means that they're able to say this. So I guess mutilation and violence is okay as long as guns aren't involved. Oh yeah, American Skateland just gave us compressed and cropped versions of a few songs. I never thought I'd ever listen to the Dead Kennedys on the DS Lite. Skipping ahead to Pro Skater 1+2 because I never played the games between that and American Wasteland. Now, when you look at the box of the game, you'll notice that there's only a T rating, and weirdly enough, it's only for lyrics, which is a lie because this has the most censored soundtrack out of all the mainline Tony Hawk games. It's made very clear that Vicarious Visions is a different team than Neversoft. Don't get me wrong, they did an amazing job with the game, but they stripped almost all of the edge that the originals had. From a business and a creative standpoint, I can understand this. Appealing to a wider audience lets more people enjoy the game, which will make the game more successful. But I just don't like how censored the music is. Jerry Was a Race Car Driver by Primus is altered in this game, but it wasn't even censored in the original. They're stricter on what words can and can't be said now. The song Same in the End by Sublime is censored. What's the word that they censored? Ass. But come on, ass? You can't say ass in Tony Hawk now? The Jackass was a trick that appeared in multiple games. Well, to be fair, I don't think that they're gonna add BAM in any project anytime soon, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that move being censored. Police Strike by the Dead Kennedys is an interesting case. The version in Pro Skater just has a lot of awkward pauses for the raunchy parts. The version in the remake has certain lines censored that the original didn't censor, but removed the awkward silence with other lines in the song. Like in the original, Suck on My blank was completely gone. But in Pro Skater 1+2, it's there now, but it's Suck on My street. It seemed like Vicarious Visions was really trying for that E rating with how hard they went on the censorship. Not just with the music, but with everything in general. If it wasn't for the music, we probably would have gotten another E-rated mainline Tony Hawk game ever since the games on the 64. Even with the censorship, at least Vicarious Visions actually got more songs from the original than Robomoto was able to get in Pro Skater HD. And that was pretty much everything that I was able to find in the soundtrack. Let me know if you heard anything else strange that was censored or not censored. Alright, cue the outro.
You've got another try. You've got another try. You've got another try.